This is pretty crazy, $135 IPO price, and now it's well above that, almost double, which is pretty wild. That's already a pretty inflated valuation that people were criticizing too. SpaceX actually opened last Friday after this last episode debuted, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it yet. But it opened at $160.95 on day one, and it's now trading just below $200. But it did briefly go above $200 on June 16th, I believe. So this is pretty crazy. The first day, like a 20% pop from the first day, $135 IPO price, and now it's well above that, almost double, which is pretty wild. That's already a pretty inflated valuation that people were criticizing too, like roughly above 2.1 trillion on day one. So the interesting development here is that it's already being considered to get included in the Nasdaq 100 as soon as July, which is pretty big. But it is one of the seven or five biggest companies in the world now, I believe, and it just overtook Amazon as well, which Bezos probably isn't too happy about. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. And under new NASDAQ rules for megacap IPOs adopted in May 2026, SpaceX becomes eligible 15 trading days after listing. So landing maybe around July 7th. So Bloomberg Intelligence estimates that 600 billion in passive tracking assets would be forced to buy SPGX automatically at that point. There's also a lot of ETFs gobbling up as much as they can, and a
Yeah.
lot of interesting things. Like you and I talked about this, but definitely pay attention to the unlocks here because there is some enforcement of not being able to liquidate shares that people probably bought 10 years ago or more. They've been holding on to this forever, so a lot of excitement and anxiety and waiting to liquidate these shares to realize some of those gains. But who knows what that'll do to the price with such a low float.
Yeah, I mean, we've drawn a lot of parallels in the past between the SpaceX IPO and what we've seen within the Web3 landscape around IDOs and IEOs, initial decentralized exchange offerings, initial centralized exchange offerings. And what I mean by that and drawing those parallels, we've seen, for example, retail and institutional lockups on stocks before they can essentially trade them on the market and take advantage of open liquidity.
Yeah.
Low float, high FDV. This is, the definition of low float high FDV as far as we've seen for an IPO. And what that means is that once both retail and institutional investors start to gain access to their shares that they can openly trade on the market, they're going to take advantage of that price appreciation and potentially drive the price back down. And because it's low float, meaning that there's a small portion of supply trading on the market and there's a limited amount of liquidity that's propping up the price, then any sort of sale can have a multiplying effect on the price. That's what we're kind of anticipating here. The drive up to $220 plus a share, and I believe there was like a 40% jump in a 24-hour period. I think that was very, very much unexpected on my part and a number of other people's parts because that's a massive jump in such a massive valuation of a company. We're talking about $1.75 trillion dollars to up to maybe $3 trillion dollars all of a sudden, making Elon Musk the richest man in the world and the first official trillionaire by a mile. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and what he does specifically with his newfound capital and influence across government policymaking, etc. But again, keep in mind that there are some unlocks coming, even with those inflows to ETFs and different types of packaged investment assets across a number of markets. We are going to start to see a lot of investors that have been sitting in the wing for years now, looking to take advantage of this public offering and start to take their returns.
Yeah, seeing a lot of people bragging on LinkedIn about getting in some of these syndicate rounds, and we're up 4,000% on SpaceX, but I'm sure none of them can sell, like you said right now. So let's see. But I did see some funny tweets online this past week saying, "Hey, we're officially closer to being billionaires than Elon Musk is right now. We're closer to billionaire status than he is because he's well into the well above
Wild.
a trillion, you know?
Very wild. SpaceX, who just acquired Cursor for $60 billion days after going public. They announced it on June 16th in a regulatory filing that it plans to acquire Cursor. And this is the AI coding assistant. As we all know, it's used by more professional developers than any other tool. And apparently an all stock deal worth that $60 billion expected to close in Q3 of this year. The deal came only 5 days after SpaceX's IPO, making it one of the fastest post IPO acquisitions in market history. And for good reason. Elon Musk had lined up that option to acquire Cursor months before, claiming that Cursor's coding tool is essentially critical for scaling up SpaceX's operation in the involvement and integration that it has with X and XAI and a lot of their other AI infrastructure. And I don't think it's a very big deal to SpaceX considering the market appreciation of their asset over the past week. I believe the market cap of SpaceX had risen from $1.75 trillion at launch to in excess of $3 trillion now. So it's essentially a drop in the bucket, especially for an all stock deal. As we know, the acquisition doubles SpaceX's AI workforce overnight and dramatically strengthens the XAI division's position in the enterprise software market. And so I think this is an interesting move. Elon Musk had lined this up previously, and like I said before, he claimed that it's the dominant tool in professional software development with a massive user base, and this is going to do a lot to enable them internally to develop more complex AI infrastructure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think they made this deal, and we covered it a few weeks ago or a month ago. I can't even keep track, but basically saying that they would have to put 10 billion on the line, and if they have the right to buy it, and they would forfeit that if they didn't, eventually acquire it. So, this is the fastest acquisition in history. 5 days after an IPO, you go public, and then you immediately buy one of the biggest companies I've ever seen, and just goes to show how meaningless these numbers are. A $60 billion company, and yeah, I think pointing to what you said, it is like the biggest market share, and it's like pretty spectacular about how many companies are using it. I think even like Microsoft canceled Claude Code for 5,000 engineers last week, and then they said they were moving to Copilot. So like Musk kind of you know sabotaging Microsoft a little bit by buying the tools that they've just switched to. But Cursor at 4 billion in analyzed revenue, but its market share has fallen, I think, from 41 to 26% in the past year. So there are lots of other tools that are coming to market, and it's getting more and more competitive. So it might seem like a wildly inflated price to buy Cursor, just to get some help for SpaceX and XAI. But at the same time, when you just raised like what $750 billion, and you just had a $2.1 trillion valuation for your company that just went public, then maybe you have some wiggle room to make some of these big splurges.
Yeah, absolutely. It adds speculation to the table when it comes to SpaceX. And you're talking about, again, like a $3 trillion company that just acquired a $60 billion company. But, as a result of this news, I think the stock popped off. So, that was a great investment on their part. As far as Cursor goes, like the infrastructure, it's not a native LLM or any sort of like native AI infrastructure. It's essentially a pass through that uses a lot of different LLMs for coding purposes. So realistically, I don't know how much it can add to the AI stack for XAI, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, it might just be a speculation thing. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, they timed this masterfully. They already set the wheels in motion, and then 5 days after IPO, they're like, "Hey, look at," like, we've also seen this in crypto quite a bit. You launch your token, and then you make a big announcement like a few days after or a week after to pump the price a little bit. They know what
Mhm.
they're doing, and it worked out well. So congrats to the Cursor team. I think the youngest self-made billionaire in the world, 25 years old, the CEO of Cursor. So pretty spectacular. Hey, it's your friend Mello from Arcanum Ventures. If you got any value out of this video whatsoever, we want to hear about it. Leave us a comment in the comment section. We look forward each and every week to reading those, and maybe give us a subscribe too, because we put out new content all the time, 4 or 5 videos a week. So maybe check one out now. Take it easy.